Mariam, good morning, Mariam. Zahruk. Morning, Mariam. Basant. Minna. Daniel. Minna. Daniel. Morning, guys. Jana. Karim. Jana. Where is Jana? Karim. Mirna. Kiki. Mirna. Muhammad Kiki. Where is Mr. Kiki? Kiki, And Nada. Nada's here. Morning, Karim. Rashwan. Karim, can you hear me? Samar.
مستر سامح حضرتك.
Morning. Where you were absent in the first session? Why? Luigi?
لا أنا كنت موجود.
No.
إيه؟
You were absent, Karim.
كنت موجود والله.
Didn't admit you, Karim.
لا مفيش الكلام ده والله يا مستر، كنت موجود.
كنت موجود، والله ما كنت موجود.
والله العظيم كنت موجود يا مستر.
اسم تاني ولا حاجة؟ عمر ازاي؟
طب والله كنت موجود، ده حتى
اسماء؟
حضرتك كنت عمال تشغل حاجات وتقول ميرنا حضرتك انت بس اللي رافعه ايدك ومش عارف ايه.
صامت.
صوتك لان اسمك ما جاش قدامي خالص يا كريم. ماشي، انا هحضرك بس انا
السلام عليكم.
خلاص انت حلفت والله يبقى انت
لا
حاضر.
يا مستر والله كنت موجود، ده حضرتك اللي مدخلني الحصه.
طب خلاص دونت سوير اجين. خلاص
السلام عليكم.
عليكم السلام. ويت، مستنى ما نبطل خناقه بقى وابقى اقول
يا مستر ده مش جمال اصلا.
I didn't say جمال خالص. I didn't say جمال خالص.
امال ايه؟
طيب I'll read the names in front.
والله مين يا جمال؟
الفيديو يا كريم هرجع تاني الفيديو لان بقرا من الشاشه من قدامي. هرجع تاني الفيديو الاولاني.
بيرثداي بوي.
تمام.
الصوت بيقطع جامد. الصوت بيقطع جامد.
Okay, sorry.
بيرثداي بودي.
It's out of my hand. طيب in front of me now I have كريم، أحمد دحروج، دانيال، جانا صبح، لوجي، منى، ميرنا، أبو الفرح، كيكي، ندى، عمر، بسنت، رشوان، سمر، ياقوتا and that's it. Okay, these are the names in front of me. وهرجع تاني للفيديو بتاع السيشن الأولى يا كريم وأشوف اسمك كان موجود ولا لا. يعني أنا
تمام.
كنت واثق بس أنا مصدق.
طب ما بقول لحضرتك اهو مستر اللي حصل والله، حضرتك حتى كنت بشغل فيديو وبتقول لميرنا انت بس رافعه ايدك والكلام ده، والله كنت موجود.
فاهم عادي، بس انا ما شفتش اسمك، يبقى ممكن انت بتدخل باسم تاني او حاجه، لان انا مركز مع كريم.
لا والله بس
يعني يوسف مشالة ما حضرش النهارده، ما حضرش الاولى لحد دلوقتي، ما ظهرش لسه، لا الاولى ظهر ولا عنده، فانا عارف
طب
ان
هو مش لما ببقى مش ببقى في الويتنج روم حضرتك اللي لازم تدخلني؟
طبعا، بس ما
طب ازاي حضرتك شفتش اسمي؟
لا والله ما شفت اسمك، انا بحلف وانت بتحلف. نو بروبلم نو بروبلم. let's start. سوري كريم، انا ارجع للفيديو الاولاني.
خير يلا خير.
تقدر طبعا.
ماشي.
Okay. Guys, we in the first session we did chapter 2. I think that it's about 10 pages, but the idea is just one line. Who can summarize chapter 2? Yani, as I told you before, this is not in the exam, but your participation is very important. You have marks for your participation, and to do book 2 and book 3 in second, third, and fourth terms, you need to understand book 1. Okay, my Tanakh is here. Who can summarize chapter 2? Who can summarize chapter 2? Put your hands up, please. I have Mirna only. What about the other guys? I'd like to admit Hania. Hania is joining us. What about the other guys? Still Mirna only? Yani the only person who attended the first session was Mirna. The only person who understood the chapter was Mirna and Minna. Guys, Hamid, can you summarize chapter 1? Chapter 2, sorry. Hamid? Hamid hasn't joined yet. Okay. Omar?
Yes.
Can you summarize the chapter? Chapter 2. Chapter we did in the first session, sorry. Can you, Omar?
So it was talking about the
Just one line, huh? طيب.
the problems and the
طب take your time, Omar. Take your time and follow up, please. Myrna.
It was discussing the journey up the hill, and what happened with the passengers of the Dover mail, and they were stopped by a messenger who was Jerry, delivering the message to Mr. Jarvis Lorry, and the answer was recall to life.
Thank you. Minna, what was the message? Minna?
The message was wait at Dover for Mamsel.
Thank you very much. Who do you think this mamsel is? Who do you think this lazy is? A lazy lady, sorry. Still Minna and Myrna. Guys, I want you to kill Minna and Myrna and get rid of these active guys. Dahrou. Dahrou, can you hear me? Ahmed?
Yes, Master.
Do you remember the message? We have a message sent by a horseman, a messenger called Mr. Cruncher. Okay, he takes this message to Mr. Lorry, Mr. Jarvis Lorry, as Myrna said. Do you remember the message? Just 5 or 6 words. Wait for Mamsel at Dover. Okay, Dover is an English city or town, a coastal town. It's the nearest English town to France. Okay, this coach was traveling from London to Dover. Okay, in the coach there were 5 people, I think. The guard, there was a guard. طبعا there is mail, letters and important messages, money and so on. So there must be a guard. This guard has a chest of weapons or arms, knives, maybe some types of guns and so on. Okay, to guard this valuable coach. The coachman, the man who led the horses, and some passengers who used to travel using such coaches. In this carriage or in this coach, there were 3 passengers. One of them is Mr. Lorry, the banker who works at Tellson's Bank back in London. The man received a message that says a lady is waiting at Dover. He answered it in 3 words, recall to life. And this is the title of book 1, if you remember. Recall to life is the title of the first 6 chapters, Recall to life. And we said, I want you to give me answers, please. What does this symbolize? What does this reply symbolize? What does this answer symbolize? Lower your hands, please, Myrna and Minna. You did a good job. Thank you very much. That's enough for you. Other guys, please. I have Luigi only. Who else? Recall to life. What does this reply symbolize? I said it symbolizes 2 things. Luigi?
The rebirth of
Dr. Manette. I try to remind you with the names because you're new to the names.
I know. Dr. Manette.
Dr. Manette, thank you, who was imprisoned in the Bastille back in Paris for 18 years. He lost his memory. He forgot his name. Whenever, I say the same stuff again and again. Whenever you ask him about his name, he would answer 105 North Tower. This is the number of the cell or the room in which he was imprisoned. Okay, I'd like to welcome Shahd Ibrahim. Shahd Ibrahim. Okay, so this recall to life may be this man's rebirth after being buried in this cell for 18 years individually. Okay, and another thing, who can remind me of the other thing this reply symbolizes? Recall to life. Who else is recalled to life symbolically? Who else is recalled to life? Who else is recalled to life? Hania? Hania?
Yes.
Can you answer this question?
Yes.
Who
Who
else?
else is recalled to life? Wait.
Who else was called to life or recalled to life? Dr. Manette is one.
Charles and Charles
I'll
Darwin.
tell you the name. I'll tell you the name. It's Sidney Carton. Sidney Carton. How? Explain.
Right.
Did you attend the first session, Hania?
I did.
Yes, I have your name here. طيب. I think Daniel was raising his hand. Take your time, Hania. Be more active, guys, and follow up, please, guys.
Mister, I was going to say that Dr. Manette was brought back from the dead.
Yeah, Luigi said this. The other person who was...
Okay, I can answer.
Okay.
Mister, I can answer if you want.
Wait, Hania will answer.
He was spiritually awakened.
He was, yes. How? Through his love to Lucy. Again, Sidney Carton was the assistant of a lawyer, okay? And he was something like a barrister, yani a low-rank lawyer, and he was drinking all the time, wasting his money, and he was leading, as we said, a dissolute life, womanizing and such stuff. But he was spiritually awakened by being sentenced to death instead of or in the place of Charles Darnay because of his love to Lucy. He loved Lucy and declared to her that I'm ready to do or to sacrifice myself for a person you love, for you or for a person you love. He loved Lucy, but his love wasn't requited, wasn't returned, but he was ready to die for her. And he did, and he kept his promise. He was recalled to life spiritually. Okay, طيب. Let's thank you very much for your participation. Let's go to chapter 3, and I have about a 10-minute video. Did you like the idea of playing the sound and reading it from YouTube? And okay, this saves time because if we try to read the chapter ourselves, no problem. But would you like to read yourself?
The quality is not good enough.
What can I do? Would you like to read it yourself?
I'd rather someone read. The sound is a little off and her voice is honestly annoying.
Okay, so but it's about 10 pages. We want to get the let's say the gist of the chapter. We don't need to read every single word or understand every single word, you know. What can I do? If we try to read it paragraph by paragraph, we would take 2 hours or something like that. And I'm sure if I ask you to read it at home, 2 or 3 people only will read it and the others will not read. This is the only thing I can do now. Any other suggestions?
As a mister, yani, she reads it and then you read it after and re-explain.
I don't read it.
So why?
Just okay. Type. I have a summary of from Cliff Notes. You know the site Cliff Notes. I have a summary of the chapter, and about a page or 2 pages. Let's read it together. So the coach is still heading for Dover, right? The coach was heading from London to Dover, right?
Yes.
After Mr. Lorry received the message and replied to it, he had a nap. As the coach rattles its way toward Dover, Mr. Lorry dozes, okay, restlessly. He was sleeping for some time, restlessly, reflecting upon his mission. He had a mission. What's his mission? To dig someone out of grave or of a grave. Was he really going to dig someone out of a grave, guys? Do you think he was really going to dig someone out of a grave?
Yes.
No.
No, it refers to Dr. Manette. Again, he was going to receive him from prison. The prison here is likened to a grave in which the man was buried for 18 years, as you know. Again, so he was reflecting upon, he was thinking or considering his mission to dig someone out of a grave who has been buried alive for 18 years. The man, Dr. Manette, was imprisoned for 18 years. He envisions, he refers to Mr. Lorry, the banker, envisions what the face of the man must look like and contemplates how severely the years may have affected him. Okay, after being imprisoned for 18 years, let's say your face looks different for sure. You are if he was buried or sorry imprisoned when he was مثلا 30, now he's 48. For sure a 30-year-old man is different from a 48-year-old man. Haunted by visions of the man's face, Mr. Lorry imagines a dialogue in his sleep. This was like a dream in which he repeatedly asks the man, he imagines a dialogue between him and Dr. Manette in which he repeatedly asks him, I hope you care to live. And the man always responds, I can say. Okay, this is the summary of the chapter. So again, the chapter 3 is like a dream on the coach, okay, during their journey from London to Dover. Mr. Lorry envisioned or saw Mr. Manette, and he imagined that he was having a dialogue with him in which he was asking, I hope you care to live, or in other words, do you care to live? The answer was, I can't say. Analysis. Continuing the theme of secrecy, Dickens compares Mr. Lorry's secret to the inner lives of all people, stating that every person is a profound secret and mystery to every other. Okay? Each single person is a mystery to others, right? Or has his own or her own secrets. Dickens using the passengers in the coach to demonstrate his point. Although the three men, we have three passengers, as you know, are traveling a long distance together from London to Dover in this muddy road in, let's say, in 1775, it took maybe hours or days in very close quarters in the same coach. For example, let's say 2 meters by 2 meters or a meter and a half by a meter and a half. They act solitary, individually, enough to be traveling alone. Additionally, and described in as described in chapter 2, the passengers are so bundled up against the cold. It was very cold. They were bundled in their clothes, maybe, that distinguishing any of their features is impossible. You can't distinguish any of their features because they were bundled up in clothes. Their physical anonymity, they weren't known. You can say, or you can tell what their bodies looked like, what their shapes look like, what their features are like, combined with their mistrust of each other. Their physical appearance was not clear, and they mistrusted each other, okay? Due to the prevalence of robberies, the common robberies at that time, causes the three passengers to completely isolate themselves from one another. This concept of mystery and isolation becomes increasingly important as the book progresses and characters begin to make decisions based upon close kept secrets. Also important in this chapter is the introduction of the resurrection theme. We talked about resurrection yesterday, the resurrection theme, or coming back to life. Coming back to life. Someone is indeed doing or going to be recalled to life. We talked about two people, not one only here. And the questions raised by such an event haunt Mr. Lorry. Recalled to life is also the title of book 1, as I said, of A Tale of Two Cities, which indicates that the upcoming resurrection is vital to the development of the plot. Again, the resurrection of Dr. Manette and resurrection, the spiritual resurrection of Sidney Carton add to the plot in this section of the novel. Although you still don't know who the dead man is here or from where he is being resurrected, you do know that he is somehow central to the plot. Of course, Dr. Manette's name isn't mentioned yet. In chapters maybe 2 and 3, we have the names of Mr. Cruncher, the messenger, and Mr. Lorry only. Dickens symbolically represent the significance of the resurrection at the end of the chapter when Mr. Lorry awakens at daybreak. Again, after this long dream, he awakens at daybreak in the early morning and looks out the coach window at a partially plowed field. A plowed field, guys, symbolizes new planting, new life. You will sow the seeds and new plants will grow. So this is maybe a new life, okay? A wood, there was a plowed field and a wood and the sun rising into the clear sky. You know, when the sun rises in the morning, again, this is a new day. A new day is reborn, okay? This is a new life, this is a rebirth. His troubled dreams have been dissolved by the sunrise. A rebirth or resurrection of the sun. The sun is resurrected. The sun is reborn again, okay? And the sun rises to illuminate a field and a wood. The provinces of death. The farmer we talked about in chapter 1, and fate, the woodman, that Dickens introduced in the first chapter. With this imagery, Dickens suggests that recalling the mystery man, Dr. Manette, to life will also bring to light the silent forces that are moving France toward revolution. يعني the freeing or setting Dr. Manette free will, let's say, add to the events that will lead to the French Revolution in a way or another. Here we have some expressions in this. طبعا the book is written in the mid-19th century. It was published in 1859, as we said. The language of the book, as you can see, is a little bit difficult for us 21st century readers. Something of the awfulness. Here, the word awfulness means impressiveness. It doesn't mean being terrible or something like that. A coach and 6, as we said before, a coach drawn by 6 horses. A coach and 2, a coach which is drawn by 2, a coach and 3, and so on. Coach and the number of horses that are drawing it. Ale house, ale is a type of beer, you know, made of malt or some plants like this. A place where ale is sold and served. Tavern, a place where such drinks are served. Cocked hat, it's a type of hat, a 3-cornered hat with a turned up brim. I think I have a photo of it here. This is a cocked hat. Oh, okay. So, got the idea of chapter 3, guys? Are you following up, guys?
Yes.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay, thank you very much. Who can tell me the main idea of chapter 3? Let me ask Jana Sobh. Jana, guys, if you call your name twice and you don't answer, you're absent, believe me. Jana Sobh is absent, I'm sorry. In the second session, Jana is absent. Karim, are you there? Kimo? So tell Karim he's absent again. طيب, Mariam, can you hear me? Mariam? Mariam is absent.
Yes, Mister.
Okay, Mariam is not absent. Can you answer my question? What's your question, mister? Because you weren't following
Can
up.
you repeat your question?
Okay, Mariam, summarize or what the main idea of chapter 3? Were you following up, Mariam? Be honest. Were you following up?
Honestly, no.
No. Okay, please follow up, please. Type. Take your time. I'll ask another guy. Hamad Al-Kiki, are you there? Mr. Kiki?
Yes, I'm there.
صوتك يا محمد لان كده مفيش participation في السيشنز خالص يا محمد. يعني لما اجي اكتب البارتيسيبيشن بتاع الكيكي ما افتكرش ان هو جاوب عليا سؤال ولا عمل معايا اي حاجه. ف يعني ايه help me to give you some marks please. Can you answer my question? You'll ask me, what's your question, mister? Because you weren't following up. Am I right?
No, it's the summary, but
Good.
I don't know.
Were you following up honestly?
Yeah, but I didn't get that. I didn't get the idea.
It's just a simple thing. Maya, are you there? Maya?
Yes,
I told you
Mr.
guys, I sent you an email yesterday and said there will be a discussion. And I asked you to read it home and discuss it with you. But we explained it. We said the idea and we say the same thing again and again. Type. Maya, can you answer my question?
Can you repeat the question?
Now, if you ask me to repeat the question, this means you weren't following up, guys. This is to all of you, not Maya only. Take your time, Maya. Thank you. Muhammad Abul Farh, can you answer my question? Muhammad? Muhammad, are you there? So Muhammad is absent. Who else? Basant, I want to hear your voice. I know you're there, but can you summarize the chapter, please?
So what happens is that Mr. Larry, he is basically digging someone out of the grave. He is resurrecting Mr. Manette. He's going to get him in Dover. He has been buried alive for about 18 years, and he is imagining and is dreaming about how he looks like and how the years have affected him. And he is imagining where he asks him, I think, I hope you carry to live. And he always responds by saying, I can't say.
Thank you very much. That's it. Okay. Type. I have come to the end of this session. I know we still have about maybe 7 or 8 minutes before the end of the session. But I have nothing to add now. Tomorrow, inshallah, we're going to do chapters 4 and maybe 5. We'll start 5. They are a little bit longer than 2 and 3. Please, if you have time, read them or go to any site and read the summary and try to understand what the 2 chapters are about. And just type in Google, A Tale of Two Cities, Book 1, Chapter 4, A Tale of Two Cities, Book 1, Chapter 5 summary. And you know this stuff better than me, okay? You'll get what that chapter is about, and this is the idea. Because again, this is not in the exam, but we need to understand what is happening in Book 1. Okay?
We read the chapters?
No, you don't need to read the whole chapter. Just read the summary of the chapter from anywhere. You have tons of material online. Again, type in Google. This is what I did to give this summary. This is what I did to give this short summary. A Tale of Two Cities, Book 1, Chapter 4, and again, Book 1, Chapter 5. That's it. See what the chapter is about, and that is what we need to do. Any question, guys?
No.
Are you there, Muhammad? Muhammad didn't. You can leave the room now, guys. Muhammad Abul Farh. Jana, are you there? Karim, are you there? Sorry. So those guys are absent. انتوا الاثنين انت وكريم انتوا فين يا حبايبي؟
ايه؟
انتوا فين يا حبايبي؟ بتختفوا ليه؟
انا موجود يا مستر، بس انا كان عندي بس النت كان بيقطع شويه فما كنتش سامع، بس دلوقتي النت تمام.
نو بروبلم، انا بصدقكم على طول والله. بس بليز
من شويه
يس دانيال
النور قطع. اوكي
say Daniel.
بيتر كان مش لاقي النور قطع عنده.
No problem, no problem. Peter is with us all the time. Thank you all. I'll end this. Any question, guys?
No, Master. Thank you.
Thank you very much. Assalamu alaikum.